But Mishnah Bet. אין צולים את הפסח לא על השיפוד. We do not roast the Pesach, not on a שיפוד. שיפוד means of מתכת, of steel. You cannot use steel, like we explained in the previous one. מהטעם שביארנו המשנה הקודמת, from the reason we gave before, לפי שחם מקצתו חם כולו, because if part of it becomes hot, all of it becomes hot. כלומר שחלקו התחוב בבשר מתחמם על ידי חלקו החיצון המתלבש באש. That part that is in the flesh is going to get warm through the other part that's in the fire, ונמצא הפסח נצלם מחום השיפוט ולא מחום האש. And then the Pesach is going to get cooked from the metal rod and not from the fire itself. ולא על ההשכלה. And you're not allowed to do it on השכלה. What is השכלה? Askala is like a metal thing. You're not allowed to put a metal thing and cook it on top of the metal thing. Yeah? לא על ההשכלה. Or...
You don't get the fire directly.
Or...
You need a direct fire. It's מפריד.
We're going to see. We're going to, very, very good. Do you? We'll see soon. And there's two ways to learn Askala right now. We're going to learn it one way later on. But right now, Askala means metal, or just like the barbecue. You know, the barbecue has a thing, and then you put it on top of it. You're not allowed to put it on top of it. Easy answer, why not? Because it's cooking from the metal part. Okay? We're going to see if it's... Yeah, exactly. ולא על ההשכלה, and not on the השכלה, כאין תס של ברזל. This is like a piece of metal, שאין צולים עליו. One is not allowed to roast on top of it. מאותו הטעם שביארנו בשיפוט של מתכת. Just like we explained in the spit of metal. יש גורסים במשנתנו, the Ardozo says, לא בשיפוט ולא בהשכלה. Not with a spit and not in השכלה. בגמרא מבואר, שכאן צריך להוסיף פסקה. חסורי מחסרה. It says, the Gemara says, we're missing a word over here. Which word is the Mishnah missing? It says, ואם השכלה מנוקבת היא, but if it is a gridiron, in other words, it has holes in it, so there's two types of השכלה, one completely metal, and the other one is holes in it. אם השכלה מנוקבת היא, היינו רשת של מתכת, שיש לה נקבים, it is a spit of metal, it has holes, וחום האש עולה לבשר דרך הנקבים הללו, and the fire goes to the meat through these holes, ומדובר כאן בכגון שאין בשר הפסח נוגע בהשכלה גופה. If it touches the השכלה at all, then for sure it's not. It's like the shipud. We're talking about, but even if you have metal and it's holed, you still have a problem. Because you can say what? That what's cooking?
The metal cooking the...
it's the heat of the metal.
The heat of the
metal is cooking it. That's it.
if האש יוצאת בחוץ, it comes out.
Yeah, as long, it doesn't matter, but it's still the heat of the metal, some of the heat of the metal that cooks it. Yeah. That's what they're saying. ונוגע בהשכלה גופה, אלא הוא תלוי מעל גביה, כשרה ליציאת הפסח. So over here we have a disagreement, if, as long as the meat doesn't touch this metal part. So if it's only a flat screen, then everybody says it's not. If it says a whole screen, then we have a disagreement. Some says flat screen, if it doesn't touch the meat, right? Yeah. Some say it's not a problem, because the fire goes above it. What's the problem? Okay. Some say, no, it's not only the fire who's hitting it, it's also the metal who's hitting it, and that's going to be a problem. Okay. So now Rabbi Tzadok is going to bring, we have a problem. We have two ways of learning it. Are you allowed to do a... with the grid or not? So Amar Rabbi Tzadok says, Maaseh Rabban Gamliel. It says, I remember Rabban Gamliel. שאמר לטבי עבדו, that he told to Tevi, his servant. By the way, if you remember from Masechet Brachot, we learned about this Tevi. Yeah. It says Tevi is one of the slaves that Rabban Gamliel looked at him almost as a Jew. Yeah. He mourned for him, he did all the said Kaddish, the whole thing that he did. Some people asked him, why are you treating me? He says, no, Tevi avdi kasher haya. Tevi is a special, he is a special one. He's not regular... Yeah, like even more than Eliezer, by the way. Yeah.
More than Eliezer.
Because Eliezer wasn't a Jew for sure. He was a Jew.
Oh, he was a Jew then?
The question, he treated him like a Jew for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he לא
No, I don't know. But if it's the one I remember, if the Gemara that I remember, I think there was one case, there was one time in the end that there was 9 people and Rabban Gamliel said to Tevi, okay, you become, I think, if it's for sure was with one of them. Yeah. By the way, every servant, non-Jew servant that becomes a servant of a Jew, מתגייר. אז צריך רק לשחרר אותו, ואז הוא נהיה יהודי ממש. אבל you're not allowed to keep him, you're not allowed to, you have to. Every servant, non-Jew, has to be, otherwise after a year you have to let him go. If he doesn't accept Torah and mitzvahs, you have to let him go. Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought that you skip him for 7 years.
No. 7 years is only Jew. 7 is forever.
מדובר בג'ו, לא מדובר ב...
Yeah, every Knani,
1 year you can keep every Knani?
if he doesn't accept the rules, you're not allowed to keep him. He has to accept all the Torah rules. No, he has to accept all the Torah rules. But he becomes like a woman because he's still a servant. So he has the Torah rules as a woman does. But then all you need to do is just to free him. He doesn't need, in other words, he already went to the mikveh, he already had circumcision, he already had all the process is done. The only thing that is missing is freeing him. And then he becomes a full Jew. Now, yeah. Okay. אמר רבי צדוק, מעשה ברבן גמליאל, שאמר לטבי עבדו. This is Tevi, his servant. צא וצלה לנו את הפסח על ההשכלה. He says, go out and roast the Pesach on the gridiron. היינו על ההשכלה מנוקבת, on the gridiron. ובא מעשה זה לסייע להלכה שנראה לעיל. We bring this case to help us understand the halacha we said before. שההשכלה מנוקבת כשרה, that as long as it has holes, it is kosher. ואין גוזרים במנוקבת משום השכלה שאינה מנוקבת. And we don't make a decree, once we let you do over here, with the gridiron, you're also going to do it with the metal. No, it looks different. People are not going to think that way. לפי הירושלמי, according to ירושלמי, אין משנתנו מתפרשת כך. ירושלמי doesn't end our Mishnah this way. על פי חסורי מחסרה, it says you don't have any missing words. אלא שהמעשה בא לסתור את דעת תנא קמא. He says that he disagrees with תנא קמא. שכן רבן גמליאל חולק וסובר שמותר לצלות על השכלה. He says רבן גמליאל, according to the Yerushalmi, says that you're allowed to roast on an השכלה. אף על פי שנמצא הפסח ניצלה מחום ההשכלה ולא מחום האש. Even though the Pesach is getting roasted from the metal and not from the fire itself. In other words, it's completely closed. ושני טעמים אמר שם לדעתו של רבן גמליאל. So it says, what does he bring רבן גמליאל for? Number 1, שצלי אש לא נאמר, אלא בפסח מצרים ולא בפסח דורות. It says, when it says that you have to be roasted on fire, that's only discussed the first Pesach. The other Pesach, you can do it other ways. And number 2, another discussion is the offspring of ash. Is it like ash or not ash? Another discussion. של תולדת האש הרי אין כאש. It says anything that the fire heated is considered to be like fire. So I don't care. It's considered to be fire.
Get hot, it's like
the fire, that's right. הילקח כשניצלה הבשר מחום ההשכלה, and therefore when this meat becomes hot from the iron, הרי הוא כאילו ניצלה מחום האש. It is just like he is roasted from the fire. In other words, the fire is the source, that's all I care about. ברם, תנא קמא סובר שתולדת האש אינו כאש. But תנא קמא thinks that an offspring of fire is not like the fire. It needs to be the fire itself. Okay. What happened? נגע הפסח בחרסו של תנור. As you put the thing inside, the heat of the oven is made of clay. And now the Pesach, when you take it out, for example, touch the sides. Touch the sides of the oven. What happens then now? So now the side of the oven cooked that part. Because it's very hot. נגע הפסח בחרסו של תנור. The Pesach sacrifice touched the sides of the oven. ונמצא שנצלה מקום magao michom acheres. Now, according to the Yerushalmi, maybe you don't have to worry about it because it comes from the fire. But according to Tanakama, now you have to worry about it. So what do you do then? Shalat Tanur, it says, Yekalef mi et Pesach et mekomo. You have to take away that part away from the Pesach. The part that was touched the wall, you have to take away. Usually when you say Yekalef, take away the part, in most cases is just the skin, just a small part. In some cases, you have to take much more. It depends if it touches something wet or something dry. If it's dry, it's just the top part. But if it's wet, for example, shuman, fat drips. That's a problem because fat comes inside the thing. So then you have to take a little bit more. Yekalef et mekomo is going to take away its place. Et hamakom shenagah bacheres she'eino tzli esh, because then it's not cooked by the fire. Or it's going to say nataf merotvo shel habasar. What about if some of the moisture part of the meat dropped on it, al acheres, on the clay, venitzla harotev mechumo, and the sauce becomes hot, becomes cooked from the heat of the clay. And now you want to use this wet part, it's like shuman or whatever, the wetness, you want to use as a sauce. He says, you can't. V'chazar alav, v'chazar v'nivla b'Pesach, and then you take it, and that sauce comes back. I'll give you an example. You know how when you put something in the fire, it spritzes? When you put something in the microwave, it spritzes. Also there's a lot of things. It pops, it spritzes, so it pops into the side, and then it comes back into the meat itself. So it pops onto the side and it drops back into the meat. Now what do? That part was heated by the oven. This is the example it says. V'chazar alav, v'chazar v'nivla b'Pesach, itol et mekomo. It says you have to take that part. It says, klomar shelo dai b'klipa. Over here it's not enough in the shell because it's wet. It's like moisture. It's not just touched it.
Take a piece of meat.
אלא צריך ליטול מעוביו של הבשר כעובי אצבע. You need to take a finger length. את המקום שנבלע בו הרוטב. If it was wet, that touched it. נטף מרטבו על הסולת. For example, in the bottom of it, they cooked all kind of foods for Pesach also. They used the part for oil. So you have all kind of cookings in the bottom. So there was some bread over there. By the way, don't ask where. Yeah, it's not a problem to have flour over there because you're cooking the flour. Less than 18 minutes. Don't worry about it. In those times. So you're cooking some kind of mixture for some kind of food with flour over there. שהייתה הסולת רותחת, and the cooked thing, the pie, let's say, was hot in the bottom of the thing, and it dropped into it. ונטף מרוטב בשר הפסח עליה, וניצלה מחמת הסולת. And now this moisture became cooked because of the pie that's underneath. והרי אסור לאוכלו לפי שאינו צלי אש. And that part now you're not allowed to eat, because that part is not made by fire. It was made by the pie. That's what cooked it. יקמוץ את מקומו של הרוטב מן הסולת. You have to remove that part of the fat, or from the, whatever it dropped down over there, the liquid, from the pie. שיטול ממנה מלוא הקומץ וישרוף אותו כשאר קודשים פרחים. You're going to take a מלוא הקומץ, you're going to take from that part like this and throw it, and you'll eat it like the other kodashim.
From the meat or from the...
From the pie.
Pie.
From the pie itself.
Why would you take from the pie?
Because it has Pesach sacrifice on it. And the
so
Pesach.
This is like mixing. This is not because it's ash or
You have to remove the Pesach sacrifice away from it.
From the wood.
Yeah, if a piece of the meat fell into it, you don't have to worry about it. No. Depends when. Very good. It's like the piece of the meat fell. The question is, this piece of the meat was cooked by the fire or was cooked by the pie? If it was cooked by the pie, then this piece of meat is not good. But so the same thing over here. If that piece of meat, of rotev, that piece of fat was cooked because of the heat of the pie now, you have a Pesach sacrifice over there that was cooked by the pie. So don't eat that pie. You have to take that part of the pie away. Okay.